been rescheduled and we're running as close to it as can possibly be. Okay, let's go with the next one. We'll press on with the formalities, and at this point I'd like to call on the Mid-Gippsland President, Len Scurrah, to step up, and he has a special presentation to make to Don. Thank you.
Thank you, Herb. Donald Wight, as I know him. Donald, not Don.
Daffy?
Daffy as well. Go back 46 years.
Shit.
Exactly. There's three of us in the room. We're Pax Hill boys.
There's that.
The other one's Les Ponton. And we played tennis and football together in under 12s and all sorts of things. So we've known each other for a fair while.
Played cards.
Played cards.
Russell McGinnis.
That's it, Russell McGinnis. Three in the room. The three in the room, I'll start with their tennis. Les Ponton was by far the best tennis player amongst us. Probably Donald and then myself. Football, I'll start with, Pax Hill was a pretty famous footy club. Produced lots of good footballers. I'll go by order of seniority. Don Wight, Len Scurrah, Les Ponton, had a couple of others. Bernie Quinlan and Brownlow medalist, and help me with the other one. Calvin Tellum. So there wasn't some bad footballers. Donald was down the bottom of them.
I was a crummer.
Yeah, crummer. As I say, we do go back a lot. It's a fantastic achievement to get 1,000 games of football under your belt as an umpire. Probably about 3 as a footballer. But I ended up really probably 190 years old if you've actually done 2 or one a week or something like that. But as we know, you're not.
How old are you?
Same age as you.
I've seen him looking like that.
He is a very good umpire over the years. Don't know whether he's getting on the end of it or what he's doing going on after this, but I hope he does. He certainly looks after the rest of the guys that go with him, as you know, and everything else. One other thing most people don't know about Don and myself is my wife's Don's second cousin.
Yes, correct.
Now, I've tried to keep that away from everyone until this night, really.
Share, I'm proud.
That's correct. My son, as you know, plays at and every 50-50 decision he's ever got, he's lost thanks to Don. And one day, he told me today that he actually said to me, "Listen, mate, blood's thicker than water." Didn't happen. And still didn't get the kick. I'd like you to come forward, Don. I've got a presentation on behalf of the Mid-Gippsland Football League. Look, we're really proud to have umpires and the umpires in general with us. They're a fantastic group, and Don's one of those guys.
Thank you very much. So I don't respond yet, do I?
You can say thanks to me, Gippy, mate.
He'll probably shorten your load up if he doesn't, so one will be enough. Thank you very much. Again, Don, on behalf of the congratulations.
On behalf of Don, thanks Len and the Mid-Gippsland Football League. That's an abbreviated version. Okay, we're almost back on schedule. No, we're not. I'd like now to introduce our key speaker for this evening. I wish you wouldn't put speech down here. That's key speaker. This fellow was probably one of the ones, he's a life member, one of the ones who got me on the right track when I got onto the football ground for the first time in the Wight. And a fantastic bloke, nature's gentleman. And I know Don, having picked Chipper to give the keynote speech, he won't bag you at all. He is, as I said, nature's gentleman. Chipper, Daryl Hill, would you like to come up here?
Thanks. Tim, how long has he got?
Thanks very much, Herb. I've got 10 minutes, Don.
Use it.
And I will use it to the max. But I think, look, thank you very much. Thank you, Herb. Thank you to the association, to the organising committee for tonight, and particularly the invitation to speak on behalf of both past and present umpires at Don's 1000th game and his tribute dinner. Today, it was a privilege, Don, for me and for Peter Box over there to umpire the reserves and the curtain raiser for your game today at your Lawn North. This went against all the advice of our orthopaedic surgeons, the local cardiac arrest unit, our shrinks, and of course our wives. But we pulled through, had fun, and most importantly were able to participate in a guard of honour for yourself as you walked out today.
With the coffin.
With the coffin. I first met Don in secondary school. We umpired with the Traralgon Juniors, and I recall, I think it was back in, in the late around 79 or some stage. Don had just moved over to
74, Chipper.
74. Don had just he'd moved over to the Latrobe Valley umpires from the Traralgon Juniors. I'd been there a couple of years. And I was umpiring at Traralgon one day. It was one of my first Gippsland League, or Latrobe Valley League in those days, senior games, and I was umpiring the Traralgon Mall game. And back in those days, it was a game that was broadcast live on local commercial radio. And and I was young, I was nervous, and I was out there umpiring by myself. And Whitey was there that day. He came up to me after the game, and he said to me, "Well, look, Chipper, if you can do this, I can do it too." And well, Don, you certainly did. You went on and, with the Latrobe Valley panel, went on to 1,000 games with many, many grand finals under your belt. It was not only his umpiring service, but his service to the association, to the panel, and many years on the social committee, making sure that everyone is fed after training, the fridge was full, the trips away, various subcommittees, and also the mentoring of our young umpires. Don could be described as one of the unique characters of the game. Everyone knows Don in Gippsland football circles. He is gracious, he is passionate about the game, has a heart of gold, and enjoys a drink, or 5 or 10, after the game. And this is with the players, or at umpire social events. All of us will have many fond memories of umpiring with Don, or participating in his many exploits throughout his 1,000 games. Just a few of these I'd like to share with you tonight. Remember the days in Keegan Street, the dark winter nights, the training, and the dim light in the far corner by the pine trees, where Whitey and a few of his mates would wait and catch the next 400 or series of 200 metres as the boys went past. This continued at Maryvale Reserve until they cut down the bloody pine trees. Having a shower with Whitey after training and feeling a warm sensation run down your leg.
Tony, that was you.
The last night of training and all the antics at finals time. Even I went over Thursday night, and it's great just to go over to Maryvale Reserve from time to time, say good day to a few of the guys. Go over there Thursday night, what happens? Whitey has his special jocks that he wears to training. goes to put them on after training. One of the boys have filled his jocks with deep heat. So you can imagine that what happened to Whitey after that.
Heather Ranger.
I remember too, my own last game at Nambrock. When I umpired, I invited Don to umpire with me. We had a fantastic day. But what happened, I got dropped off at home about 4 o'clock in the morning, not knowing where I was. You know, I didn't even have my footy bag. I was still back at the footy ground. I remember running with Whitey at training. Whitey would let out a fart. And he would simply say, as we're running a 200 metre or a 400 metre, we're cruising along nicely, and he would simply say, I just gave birth to a boundary umpire. We remember having to listen to Carlos Santana and that bloody black magic woman, I'm sick of it, in the change room, particularly at finals time as Whitey prepares for the game and psychs himself up. Don and I look very similar when we were umpiring. As we both had a light beard in those days, and we had darker moustaches. And if I was having a bad day umpiring myself, away from Whitey, I'd hear from the boundary line, I would hear, give it up, White, you're too bloody old. And have a good hard look at yourself, Whitey. This is directed at me, thinking I was Whitey. The car trips to all the games in North Gibby, Alberton, Bass Valley. Look, just fantastic, fantastic days. And those trips coming home, a few drinks with the players after the games. And who could forget umpiring up in the Omeo League? You know where I'm going here.
Well, I'm not looking forward to it.
Where we'd umpire in the Omeo League, a long trip. We'd usually stay overnight in one of the pubs. Sometimes it was known that umpires wouldn't get back home until the Tuesday or the Wednesday in time for training on Thursday night. But I remember that fateful night. That fateful night after a game up in the Omeo League in the NSA pub when Whitey got dropped in the main bar. The instigator thought he was someone else.
Who was it?
I think there was a woman involved.
Yes. Or?
We'll leave it there.
You did say we looked.
And look, just in some moments that in sharing with you, just one thing I would like to say is that there is one guy who would really love to be here tonight. He can't be here because of a work accident about 18 months ago. And I speak of Alan Haynes. So let's all, look, we just, just think of Alan this time. I mentioned earlier that Whitey has a heart of gold. I would often give him a call after I retired to find out where he was umpiring, and I would take our children to the games. Whitey would always have a little bag of lollies in his footy bag for the kids. Don, the reason that we're all here tonight is because of your determination to just keep going, to keep the dream alive, to do what you love, and that is your ongoing involvement in the association and umpiring the greatest game of all. On behalf of all your fellow umpires, Whitey, both past and present, congratulations on reaching the significant milestone of 1,000 games. We wish you well for many more games to come in the future. Thank you very much.